problems there, from that side, just as far as relationship problems.
But you didn't know it at the time. You did not know he might be a high percentage candidate to maybe be messing around with.
No, I never thought it. Just out of respect for both of us, and considering how well I knew Amy, I would never. I mean, like really, if I would have had to bet my life on that happening, I would have lost my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honest to God.
Yeah. So okay, so go ahead. You start finding out more and more about what's going on. You investigate.
So anyway, I found out these messages, and I kind of get an idea of what has gone on, which I've kind of told you already. That's kind of how we got to where things were. So then, during the course of this week, and I actually, I'd called Adam right after I found this out, like after I'd been upset with Amy and told her to get the fuck out of my house. And I remember calling Adam, and I guess he was flying home, and I was like, you motherfucker, when I see you, I'm going to slap the fuck out of your mouth. He said, call me back. So I just heard your messages, just irate as I could be. And then I remember getting a call back, just apologetic. I'm sorry, it's not too late. You guys can still work things out. You can still make it through this. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen. And, buddy, I'm just so sorry. I want to fly up there and see you. I said, you do not want to fly up here and see me. I said, actually, I take that back. Please, fly up here and see me.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I said that.
Yeah.
And then he was just blah, 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 blah. And I said, by the way, if it makes you feel any better, I said, I've called your wife and left those messages on her machine. So, I know that he knew that had happened too. And he's just like, oh, so I'm just so sorry. He said, it's just not too late for you guys. It's just not too late for you guys. I just remember saying that over and over. But it's just like later I got copies of Amy's phone bill because I had her info with his phone. It's just like, he never stopped calling. It's not like he tried to stop this.
Even while he's telling you it's not too late for you guys. Like, he hangs up the phone and boom, calls her.
Sure, yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, just absolutely, being dishonest with me. Saying one thing and meaning another.
Yeah.
And then there came a point where I talked to him a couple times over the course of those couple days. And, I called them both, Amy, and I just said, look, I said, I don't really understand how this happened, but what you guys are doing is just like a drug. I said, it started off where I guess there was a little bit, and then like you're like, oh, I want a little bit more, and then it kept building and building and building. I said, now you guys are out of control. And I said, like, if you don't stop, you're just going to like kill yourselves. I said, this is going to just turn into a disaster. I said, if anybody's going to salvage their relationships here, and just like, I remember one of his big points, he was going, well, just let's, don't tell anybody, don't tell anybody. He says, we can fix this or whatever. And I was just real, especially being so angry in the beginning, I was very split on that and torn on that because, like, in a way, I didn't want to tell anybody. I wanted to kind of just go away and like let me and Amy try and work things out, but just because I still, love her so much.
Yeah.
And then there was another part of me who's like, you motherfuckers, you're not going to get away with this. You know what I mean? And I definitely want to tell my close friends so they would believe me. Just because it was such an unbelievable episode.
Yeah.
And kind of as time went on, like those couple days, like I really would have not told many people, but the thing was, like, I talked to Adam too, and like I said, the same thing, drug reference, and don't do this, and let's try and salvage something if we're going to salvage it, whatever. And then, I said, you guys just shouldn't talk to each other. Let you try and figure out your relationship, and let us try and figure out our relationship. And he said, okay, maybe we shouldn't do that, maybe we shouldn't do that, or maybe we should do that, maybe we shouldn't talk or whatever. And there were just a couple days where they went without talking, but I know, like, he told Christian, which got back to Jericho, he's like, fuck it, my wife left and she's upset when to Colorado, I'm going to call Amy. And it's just like, he said that he wasn't, and he didn't. He wasn't making an effort to correct anything.
Yeah.
Is where my big problem was. And that's the kind of things that really drove me over the edge.
Mm-hmm.
And then especially, like, when he wasn't making an effort, then that would be 20 more people I'd call, listen, this motherfucker, da-da-da-da, and I'll run into him again.
Yeah.
So now the story's just growing. And it's just, there was one point, too, which I guess the first thing, which looking back in retrospect was a mistake. But like, I just remember all the pictures in the house I had of me and Amy being so happy. I just everything just came down. It was sickening to look at.
Yeah.
Especially considering circumstances involved. And I just remember being at my website, and I told her, I said, take those pictures down. And I didn't have intentions of doing this, but then people said, like, why is Amy's pictures down? Why is Amy's pictures down? And I was just like, well, if you don't know why they're down, I think you should ask her.
Yeah, I remember that.
And really, like, looking back in retrospect, you shouldn't have did that. But it was just one of those things where when you're being lied to and dishonest, it's just like you're looking for anything to kind of leash out and vent.
Yeah.
And then the story started breaking out, and then, like, everybody was starting to know about it. And then, like, once the story did start spreading, like, the first thing I wanted people to know was, like, I had never did anything wrong with Amy. It's not like I was mean to her. I was great to her. Like, as good as she can get, really. I mean, like, as far as asking for a good relationship, And
you knew no one was going to contradict that. Nobody has. I mean.
No, it's impossible, too. You can't.
Yeah, well, you can lie, but even no one's there to do that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And, and then that just led to things. And then there were other just incidents that would go on where you think, like, me and Amy would have this good conversation, but then, like, she really, like, I just feel bad for her, and it's not like I'm just defending her now because she was the one I loved and Adam I didn't, but she, like, at least has been sincere and very honest throughout the thing, where Adam was the one who was just always trying to backpedal and just say you make up a lie after lie. He was very dishonest, just trying to cover his tracks. Like, dude, you've already done wrong. Everything's out. Let's go ahead and either be honest and figure this out or not. And especially with his wife, he was real bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then there would just be times where it seemed like Amy and I would have a couple good days as far as like trying to talk about things, and then like something would happen where his wife would tell me something he said to her, and vice versa, and there was just so much he said, she said in this mix, and then it would just really blow me up because I was really an emotional wreck during this.
Yeah.
And then once this stuff did get back to the office, there was a point where they said, "Look, we want you guys to figure this out," and they like didn't want me to come to the Raleigh show because they were the TV, the Raw in Raleigh, because they were worried there was going to be a physical altercation. They said, "So you guys figure this out, and this isn't our job. We don't have anything to do with this. They're on TV. We don't care.
Yep.
So you guys figure this out." So I was the one trying to be the bigger person again because nobody else was like really stepping up, because Amy's thing is just like, I fight, man. When I get back into a corner, like I fight, or I don't sit there and wait for something to happen. I try and make something happen.
Yeah.
And even during this, they said, "Okay, well, you guys figure it out." And now I know it's starting to affect work. So I actually called her and said, "Look, before this Raleigh show, they don't want me to go." I said, "Let's get together, all three of us, and fucking sit down and talk about this. If everybody's going to be in there." Which nobody really knew about this either. That's the only time I'd been in his presence as well, the Fayetteville House show.
Okay.
We actually all sat down before that Raleigh TV event that morning and sat down and said, "What are we going to do here?" In a hotel room.
Wow. Just you three?
Just us three.
Wow.
And it was me on one side, Amy in the middle, and him on the other side. And
And just put a time frame on it. How many days had gone by or weeks since you first confirmed on those
probably
phone
2
messages?
weeks.
Okay,
2 weeks.
So you're still pretty heated, but you've
Oh,
had
very heated.
You've had a little time to cool off, but then also a number of reasons to be upset again.
Yeah,
the whole
exactly.
time,
Exactly.
yeah,
There was just
yeah.
like reasons. There kept being reasons to be upset again over this.
Yeah.
And it's just like basically the whole principle of that meeting, the whole reason we were going to have it was just to figure out like how are we going to address this situation. Now it's fucking work up.
Yeah.
And we sat down there and it's pretty general. I said, "Okay, well I could go to SmackDown or." And my thing was like, I said, "Adam, really?" I said, "If Amy and I are going to try and work things out," which she has expressed that, and I know she's got these feelings with you, I really think you should go to SmackDown. You should volunteer to, and let us try and see if we are going to work things out. Because if I go there and we separate, then that's definitely it.
Yeah.
And then he obviously didn't want to do that because he wanted to be wherever she was going to be, and it was just, we talked about all the options, and whatever. I guess we could have done it on the phone. It was just very, very tense, and just sitting there, a lot of cold stares.
Well, I was going to say, was he being buddy-buddy with you, trying to be cool, or was he very cold and distant?
It was just very cold and distant
Okay.
on all behalves.
Yeah.
And, and just the big deal was, he's just, I know you don't want to hear this, and I don't know this happened, but I love her, and I can't stop.
You said that, or Ed said that?
No, he said that.
Adam said that, yeah.
But I love her, and I just
front of
can't
you.
stop. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I just remember just looking at her going.
Yeah. Well, at least he wasn't denying it anymore. I mean, at least you got some honesty out of him. He was being upfront with you about that, as bad as it is.
Right.
Yeah.
And, and I was just like, just look at this. I said, look at these three people sitting in this room. And I was like, how in the fuck did we get into this mess? This is absolutely absurd. And my thing I've said 5 zillion times, I said, I can't believe this is my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just over and over again.
Yeah.
But anyway, that happened. And then the bad thing was, like, they go to TV, and then I guess if management did talk to them about this meeting, it's just like, I became the one because I was off TV at this time, and I was like shunned though, because they were like, "This is a problem, you guys figure it out yourself," and they asked me not to come because they're worried about a physical problem at the building, just because, I was still in the right in the scenario, especially from a moral aspect.
Yeah.
I understand for a business aspect, he was the one on TV, but if they would have took us there in Raleigh and sat down with us in some management and talked about things, they would have saw that we could have worked through things at this time, and I really think that was a big mistake of theirs.
Yeah.
So then anyway, then you've got a couple weeks going on, and there's times where, like, Amy's in Atlanta, and then Adam tells his wife he's going to Phoenix for an appearance a day early, and then he really goes to Atlanta, and then she busts him, and then, like, Amy was trying to tell me that, but he wouldn't let her tell me that because, like, he knew that if I knew, then I would tell his wife again. It was just like...
And was Amy telling Adam, "Stay away, I want to be done with this," or was she so confused?
No, the biggest thing was because I was so unstable. If I would get mad at her because of something she did, then she would talk to him because they were the two guilty parties in it, and that was the only person she could talk to.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying, even looking back in retrospect, if I had have been able to, but you just can't. If I could have been able to keep
that's asking a lot.
That's asking a lot. It's pretty unrealistic. If I could have kept my cool the whole while, it would have been an easier situation, but it's just like, once again, I've never been in any of that before.
Yeah.
And then, like, once I find out the stuff, like, he's just being dishonest, and it's just digging deeper and deeper, then just my hatred and disdain towards him is growing larger and larger.
Yeah. And you still care for him, as upset as you are.
Yeah,
and you know
absolutely.
he's messing with her and driving her crazy.
Yeah.
And as mixed as you're feeling.
Dude, like, love, it'd be nice if love was like a switch, like a light switch where you go on, off, but it's far from the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On both our instances.
Yeah.
And then, then there came a time where there was the Fayetteville House Show. And I'd actually been in a book from them, but nobody had ever said never come there, because I was just like the one that was kind of like shunned. Just like in this situation, I was off TV and I was the one that they weren't communicating with. Adam, yeah, sure, higher on the totem pole than me, doing stuff on TV. Let's understand from a business aspect, but that still doesn't make it right the way the situation was handled.
Yeah.